We have made it, folks, to the final round of the 2025 PDGA Pro Master Worlds here in Minnesota, presented by ZÜCA. Another PDGA major to add to the list for this season. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Much love to each and every one of you. You got Derek and Chris on the mic once again, and this commentary has been weighed by Marshall Street. What's going on?
Hey man, you look at Saturday there's a little bit of rain in the forecast after having some pretty good weather overall. I'd say a little hot. Big shout out Gateway to Sports for sponsoring this coverage all week long. As basically we lost one, got Cale Leiviska back, pushing for that world championship. Dutch Napier, everyone's chasing Joe, going for 4 in a row.
Let's take another look at the top 10 contenders who are trying to make a push as well, but it really does seem like Joe is moving. Let's take a look into hole 1, par 3, 340. Pretty stock shot. The green is slightly elevated compared to where the tee area is. Got to watch out for those trees on the right.
Welcome to our final round of the PDGA Masters World Championship, sponsored by ZÜCA. First up on your lead card, from Longmont, Colorado, Joe Rovere.
Mr. Joe Rovere.
Looks like he's got a nice little maybe right to left tailwind almost.
Yes,
good way to start it.
Not enough turn here. This is going to end up right in those trees, but you could still get your putt from there.
We've seen quite a variety of people go through there.
And then I would say big shout out to Dutch putting up a really solid round in round 4, only 2 strokes off of Joe.
I like the height. Starts turning a little late. Doesn't quite miss the tree. Does come up short. Looks like maybe just outside the circle.
Is he over there by the basket?
Yeah, Kenny was on site all week. Hosted his own poker night one night. He was doing on-course commentating for probably about the first 6 holes on the last 2 rounds.
Cale Leiviska. I'd say hometown hero here with the people on the card. I'd say everyone here rooting for Cale.
You can tell by the standing ovation.
Then we got the legend Brad finishing out the card.
Yeah, finishing his round with a double bogey for round 4. Still maintains his spot at the lead card.
That's going to fade out a little early.
So I guess it really was that right to left tail. Oh, and he knew it.
He was fist bumping before it was even in.
I like it.
Now, last round, we got some horns here and a smile, but I think he's a little focused today.
Yeah. Whoa, there we go. From a knee. Joe fighting through the woods there, getting himself the bird.
Brad a little closer, but it looks like he's kind of stuck behind those trees. Yep. Cale from Circle's Edge.
Oh,
what?
Doesn't need the chains, trickles over the cage. Definitely want to smile about that one and thank the disc golf gods.
These Helix baskets, man. They catch everything.
And Brad says, yeah, whatever, guys.
We're going to move into hole 2, 450, par 4. We have the left and the right here. You could try to push to the right. Some people can go long to the left. We've kind of seen a mix of both, I would say. I was saying the left was the way to go, but I kind of take that back now after seeing a couple people forcefully go to the right.
Yeah, and we've seen birdies from both directions as well.
Like Joe looks like he was going to the right there.
which is kind of a change from what we've been seeing all week.
But then with Dutch really trying to push something over there.
And I like that idea of kind of playing lower and shorter, letting the flare skip further, because I think it kind of keeps you away from that wood line that could get in your way.
Yeah, like Dutch had to throw a pretty cheeky forehand to get the birdie. Kind of where Cale is here, so it does put you in a tough spot when you're like right at that point. Brad's going to kind of be over there too. So
yeah, 3 of our 4 kind of clustered together there in that split. Much more room for Dutch this time around.
Much more distance on the throw as well.
Wow. Hey, there's Kenny again.
Joe's about where we saw
Keeping it tight to the left line.
Dutch in round 4, and
What?
Joe's going kind of long too.
These guys are getting excited. Kind of over pumping it a little. See if Brad can make the correction.
He likes it. And then Cale's in a very tricky spot. Can't really go to the right. Also doesn't throw the forehand too much, so I think this sets up for him. But kind of cut rolls. Gives it an honest bid, but he's going to be looking at a par.
So quick shot from Brad. Didn't actually know he was that far to the right.
Yeah, he was almost near 3's tee box, actually, kind of in those trees over there.
So I'm actually not sure he did like it. I think that might have been a fist bump of frustration, maybe. And right about now is kind of when the bugs were starting to get really bad as well. The skeeters were out in droves.
Yeah, it was when the women finished, when the FP40 finished, and it was about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, rained a bunch, stirred everything up. And pretty gross conditions. Hot, muggy. Not as much wind as what we saw.
It's a pretty stagnant card here for the par frame on the second. Let's jump into the third. This corridor. Honestly, one of the best looking holes here. Par 4, 444 in feet. Name of the game is to keep it right in the middle. If you drift off to the left, you do have a line over there, but there is OB to contend with. Basically, the only miss you don't want is to the right.
Like that?
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. It's going to be very difficult to find a line from there.
Dutch using the whole left side of that fairway. And, I mean, you can't really draw it up any better than that.
Oh, yeah. Classic rock as well. I believe it's a Ching stamped rock. Now that Dutch is open bag, he's got a lot of different things in his toolkit.
Cale's pretty good as well. Just as far on one line the whole way.
Oof. Little low, kind of a worm burner there. Barely cresting over that tiny ridge.
Center cut, though.
Hit something and stick. A little tough to tell exactly where he is. But we know that Joe here is less than ideal. Fortunate kick.
Just kind of hanging out with Cale and Dutch. Just one extra stroke is Cale's going to scoot on up and should be looking at a birdie. Should be no problem there for Dutch, maybe 15 feet or so. It's looking like our leader might lose a stroke to second and third place as Brad pitches up, should be able to take his par. Great putt there from Cale. So this came in as the 7th most difficult hole. 33% of the field grabbing birdie here. And came in just under par. Man, Brad just goes up and putts. I don't even think he really has a routine or a warm-up.
Not really on anything.
Yeah.
He's a pretty quick player.
Love to see it.
Hole 18 at Worlds, down by 1. It's got to go in.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
All right, back at it on the 4th, par 4, 535. This one's got a little bit of danger with the OB. Your first shot, if you can get down to this tee pad, that is a great shot. There's a bailout to the right if you don't want to go over the OB. And we're going to go to the basket up in the woods over there to the left.
Wow.
Okay, man.
Threading the needle. Kind of in a slightly precarious spot based on the T sign being there, the tree being there, but otherwise very good position, like you said.
Yeah, same mid-range as what he threw on 3 is. Cale's a little far to the right. That might make it kind of tricky to go over the OB there.
That looks too far to the right.
Yeah, no one really, other than Dutch, no one really in a great spot. I mean, Joe just has a little more distance here.
Looks what?
And then kicks.
Very tight OB right there as soon as you get into the mouth of the woods.
And our leader now sitting OB. That was a pretty good shot from Brad where he was.
Oh,
that's
man.
pretty close.
You cannot put that OB there, dude.
That was moving too. That was going to be probably past the basket.
All right, stay up.
Ooh.
Dang.
Wow, no one really playing this hole as good as we
I think
would
that's
expect.
three OBs. Wow, with the sidearm approach, hitting the cage.
Oh, Joe with those sidearms.
Yeah, it worked out for him on the first round, I believe.
Might have been Dubs, actually. He threw a little forehand in there. So make sure you check out the Master World Dubs coverage that we have coming out soon. That's a great par save there for Cale.
Absolutely.
Let's go, baby.
Maintaining blemish 3 free so far.
Yeah, Dutch with the bogey. Joe's going to find bogeys. This was the hardest hole. I think we saw that in round 4 as well. Came .59 over par. So more than a half a stroke over par.
All right, here on 5, par 4, 620 Typically the play is to kind of play up to where the drop zone is. Give yourself, and try to stay as middle as possible. There is one specific line off the tee there on the right. Let it sweep towards the left. That's an unfortunate kick, but does stay open. Just cuts out a lot of the distance that you need.
I want to give a shout out Justin Bennell, Brock Cummings, Travis Head, and Lefty Al. They were the only birdies on hole 4.
Too far, maybe.
Oh, Brad really playing that OB. I'd say probably unintentional. However, great position. Really clean shot from Dutch. Just kind of gets into the edge of the woods there, but I think he's far enough up to have enough room for his swing. The angle is pretty decent from there as well. Looks like he's going to be neighbors with Dutch.
Joe just doesn't seem to be on it like he normally is right now. His throws aren't as pinpoint as they normally are.
No way.
Cale.
What a shot. Almost pin high.
Just outside the circle, looking at birdie.
Oh, no. That is a blemish you do not want, my friend.
Yeah, not on the 5th.
No
Wow.
way.
Jeez.
I'd say that was a good tree.
That was a great tree.
Brad with an amazing position here. Let's see if he can capitalize. Squares up the tree.
Joe going to lay up. Still has a little work. That's just for his bogey.
That stings.
Yeah. Well, that's a good bid from Brad. Probably a little mad at himself there after having such a good layup drive.
Oh, no.
Is it an air ball?
I kind of looked like it. A little uncharacteristic.
Dutch.
Good bounce back.
Yeah, I was about to say, he bounced back after the 4th. And you don't see that very often. 2 bogeys in a row there from Joe. At 1 over for the round through 5.
I couldn't tell you the last time I saw anything like that coming from him.
Especially at a major. Well, that makes things a lot more interesting with Cale and Joe tied up and Dutch now our solo leader. So we move into the 6th. 372 par 3. This one you want to just keep it straight as long as you can. Slight finish there at the end. Really nice green.
There Dutch is throwing that rock again. And I do believe, and let me know, somebody might want to fact check me, but I'm like 98% sure that that rock was actually a gift to Dutch from Climo himself.
Ooh,
He's
that's pretty neat.
Had it for quite a while.
Wow, Cale just missing that down tree, and he's going to hang out with Dutch just inside the circle.
Whoa. So the heat, the humidity definitely affect Brad's grip a little bit. So early release does kick in the right direction. Joe doesn't like it, but it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'll be just fine. A little short, but edge of circle.
Big overhand throw. Whoa! That's probably 2 feet short.
Wow, that was awesome. Little tomahawk action.
Lawn dart. That was a lawn dart.
That would have been something. Oh, Cale.
Stares that one down like, how could you do that to me?
Yeah, that's a birdie you need to get. It's Dutch now extending his lead on Cale.
Kind of got a little jumbled up here with the caddies and players. We had a lot of people following today as well.
Welcome to the PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships from beautiful Flagstaff.
Somehow I just like never satisfied with my work, or practice hard enough. I always have questions with myself, so I'm just gonna throw and hope for the best.
Another easy birdie for Owen Scoggins.
You're now a 3-time world champion in Flagstaff, Owen Scoggins.
All right, here on the 7th, 530 feet, par 4. Another thin one here off the tee. You got a pond there on the left early that can come into play if you don't commit. Obviously, the pond's here close to the green as well, making your approach a little more tricky.
When you said can come into play, I thought you said Ken, like as in Kenny's, like coming into play, because you said after 6 he wasn't doing it. I was like, yo, Ken, celebrity shot? I was
No,
like,
Dubs was Saturday.
oh, I was about to say. Like, who's got Ken on the celebrity shot? I don't know if it's nerves or what it is, but I just feel like the whole card, aside from maybe Dutch, just seems a little off on their drives.
I think it's the bugs.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
They were by far the worst today than they had been the entire event. Even with precautions, still tearing you up.
Whoa, Joe really pumped this one.
I like the late turn as well. Oh, and that's really unfortunate. We haven't really seen much of that come into play.
Yeah, too much gas on the throw. Smart from Cale. Yeah, this will always be one of my favorite holes here. Right at the shack.
Really good place for spectators to congregate as well, as we
And
could see a pretty big group.
so Brad's got a chance to get his first birdie.
Dutch giving himself kind of a death putt. Really going to have to show his commitment here on the next shot. Joe within range.
Yeah, looking to take a par. He's going to still be 1 over through 7 at least. Could be 2.
I think Cale broke this hole down really well. Things considered.
Dutch casually with a turkey. Didn't even mention that he was heating up. Brad on the scoreboard.
A little late bloomer on this round.
And Cale looking for some green as well. Getting a little too gray probably for his liking.
But the local love hopefully gets him jazzed up to move into the 8th. Par 3, 325. Pretty stock shot overall. A couple lines to go through, to be honest. You have more of an open line on that right side than you think. But a lot of people can kind of go right at it there on that left side as well. OB does come into play. Circle's edge.
Yeah, it's a scary putt.
Yeah, with the elevated basket and that angle, you kind of have that ceiling of that small tree, which could come into play.
Wow. Brad. Man, does he have the best forehand out of Masters players other than Scott Stokely? Is he just as good as Scott Stokely? No one ever talks about Brad's forehand.
Yeah, I mean, I'd mentioned it previously that you don't see it too much in that Masters field, but I think we're going to start seeing it a lot more considering. But it's just, I think, because of the game was so much different.
Yeah, now with people with like Germ, Sexton, like forehand specialists coming in, we're going to start seeing that for sure.
Barsby's not too far off from the Masters division either.
Damn, calling you out, Greg.
To be fair, I'm not too far off from it either.
Yeah, we all are. Oh, to be young again.
It was more of a compliment to Greg's forehand than anything.
Oh, Cale. Good run. So close, catching the cage.
He didn't like it.
Oh, Joe.
Why didn't it go in the basket better?
Joe got himself back to even.
All right. Capitalizing. It did have that. He had to kind of putt through that branch, through those leaves.
Dutch is zoned in. He's now got 3 strokes on Joe, by the way.
Making a push. His scorecard full of green.
Cale, the only one to not get the birdie on the card, as we're going to move into the 9th. Pretty iconic hole here, 250. Very tricky, a lot of OB, a lot of danger. If you don't even make it out of the gap, there's a chance you can go OB. If you throw it too hard, you can go OB. And I think you mentioned earlier, that drop zone is pretty tricky as well, with the OB right behind the basket.
Yeah, I would say drop zone is bogey at best. And it's like a 45 feet from the drop zone?
Probably a little more. Probably like 60 or 70, I would say.
Whoa.
That's 2 OBs now. Dutch's went OB, but it was very close. There was discussion, I think, or they went and checked.
Wow, great shot.
Joe I think he's done that every round. Just throws that high putter and just lets it go left to right, and it just sits so softly. Whew, that was so close to catching that tree. And that should be pretty decent from Cale as well.
Playing that OB line. Oh, yeah, I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's like 100.
Definitely not 40 feet. All right, this is not what you would want to be doing right now, having that commanding lead. Getting yourself a double at best.
Yeah, all that hard work basically getting erased. Joe's preheating the oven here through 9, so. And with Dutch taking a double here, things just got a little closer. Cale's no slouch, though. Only 1 off. So that's going to finish us up here on the front 9, this final round on Championship Saturday. If we take a look at the scores, Cale, the only one without a bogey.
Brad almost got there, too. Unfortunately, just late there.
And the biggest thing here is Paul Oman making a push from chase card.
Yeah, absolutely.
5 under through 9. Only 1 off. So that's going to finish us up here. Big shout out Gateway Disc Sports for sponsoring this coverage. And to all of our Patreon supporters, if you want to go help us out, head over to Patreon. Starts at $1 a month. Derek, we got 9 more holes, dude.
Yeah, I'm really excited because things are getting really tight there at the top. So make sure to stay tuned and come back for the back 9 action, and we will see you there.